Hey guys, back in the gym again. Today I'm training shoulders. I hope you guys have enjoyed the previous videos that I've been posting up, training here in my gym, home gym, private studio, whatever you want to call it. I get all my workouts done here by myself. I absolutely love it. I don't really need much more motivation than, like, even now I'm prepping for my pro debut, Arnold Classic next year, and that is all the motivation that I need. There's no distractions here. It's just amazing. So anyone that says that you need a training partner to be able to improve, I've trained here like this, in this environment since 2011, I think. Maybe, 2011, something like that. So all I got is my speakers, got my music, got the weights, and I have my motivation and my drive and determination to keep competing and do well in all my shows. But today, anyway, shoulder workout. Now, I think shoulders is one of those muscle groups you have to obviously have a look at your shoulder development, look in the mirror. Where are you lacking? Is it the rear delt, side delt, front delt? If you want to include traps in shoulder workout, some guys do that on back day. It's completely up to you. But the main thing is work out where you're lacking. No use downloading Ronnie Coleman or Jay Cutler's shoulder workout and just doing that for years on end if you're lacking in certain areas. So for me personally, I always did presses when I was younger. All I wanted to do was be strong and throw around dumbbells. The first exercise was a press, the second exercise was a press, the third exercise was probably a press, and then maybe I'd throw in some side delts or rear delts or whatever at the end. Now, bodybuilding is obviously based on proportions, symmetry, it's very visual, and for me, I was lacking, all of my side shots, and all of my shots really, my rear delt and side delt. So that's what I prioritize in all of my workouts now. I start with the rear, then I go to the side, then I do a press, then I go back to the side or the rear. Really depends. I do mix it up a little bit, but not so much. My workouts are very, very basic. Doesn't matter whether I'm contest prep or off season, the workouts are pretty much always exactly the same. So I'm gonna walk you guys through every exercise that I do today for shoulders. While I'm doing it, I'm gonna explain just little different things that if I'm doing something with technique that can help you guys. But besides that, I think it's time to start this shoulder workout. All right, so first exercise is rear delts, and it's here on these high cables, just using the handles. Up to you, you can use the handles, you can take the handles off and just grab onto the end of the cable. Really, whatever you feel better. So the way that I do it, I try to cross hands. I do both hands at the same time. I cross them over. I might stand back a little bit just so that I can get a bit of a stretch. Now, when you come down, the plane of motion that you pull in, this is going to depend on what feels better for you. I actually like to, if my arms are stretched out here, I like to bring my elbows almost down. So stretch the rear delt and then come sort of down with my elbows close to my body. Whereas you might feel it a lot better if you keep your elbows out. For me, when I go out, I feel it too much in my traps and I feel it in my upper back. So that is more of a feeling out type thing. Try both ways, move your elbows around and see which way suits you better. So I like to do probably five sets here, and I'll probably start with like 20 reps, then 15, and then I'll do a few sets around about the 10 to 12 mark. But I love starting with this exercise for rear delts. Okay, second exercise, we're doing another rear delt movement. Yes, I know, back-to-back rear delt movements, but I want my rear delt to be popping. I want it to grow. I'm trying to hit it while my shoulders are fresh. So the second exercise is a reverse dumbbell fly. Now, depending on your angle of your body, whether you're up high, whether you're down low, you have to work out what works best. The higher you are, you may include a little bit more traps. The lower you are, might be a bit more back. Find out what works best for you. The best way to do that is to see where you feel it in your rear delts the most. I know that sounds so simple and so stupid, but that's really as easy as it is. Just find the plane of motion that works best on your rear delts. And again, muck around with your elbows as well. Do you feel it more in your rear delts when your shoulders are, or when your elbows are close, or if you were to come almost straight out? Now, some guys I know like to keep their palms this way and just do like a reverse fly. I've never really enjoyed to do that because the straighter my arms are, the more I felt like it wasn't on my rear delts. I still like to keep my elbows tucked in and really just squeeze up with my rear delts. But this exercise, I like to go a little bit heavier. There's a touch of momentum there as well, just so I can really throw it up with my rear delts. 4 sets here, 10 to 12 reps. Okay, my third exercise is a dumbbell side lateral raise. Now, I do a couple of side lateral raise variations in this workout. This particular one, the first one, I like to keep my elbows pretty straight, my arms pretty straight. So I'll come out to the side, the pinkies will kind of go up just a little bit. Now, my elbows aren't bent. I keep it very strict on the side delt. Now, you work out, when your pinkies are turned up like that, I find that it hits the side delt a lot better, but the range of motion is going to change a bit. I can't come up any higher than about there when I've got the pinkies like that. If I turn my hand though, so that my thumb starts to turn out, I can come up much higher. So, but work out whether that's a good thing for you or not. Some people just feel that a lot more in the shoulder joint, or it just feels wrong for them. The higher that they come up isn't necessarily better. I, for one, like to just keep it, as high as I can. I'm not trying to really bring it up, in the air over my head. So this particular exercise, I like to start with a bit of volume, 20 reps, 15 reps. Next set, then I'll do 12, and then I'll stick in that 10 to 12 rep for 3 to 4 working sets. Seated barbell military press. This is one of my favorite exercises. I normally would like to do this while I'm still kind of fresh and strong, rather than trying to balance dumbbells that are too heavy. Because I train by myself as well, I just find that this is a lot safer, and I can push myself a lot more on this rather than trying to, as I said, balance a really, really heavy dumbbell. So with any kind of press, work out what grip suits you best. I like to go slightly wider, and then once I get to the bottom, once I pretty much go as low as I can, you'll see with my form, sometimes it looks as if I'm not using a good range of motion, but I'm using a range of motion that I've kind of tried and tested over the years that feels best on what I'm trying to do. So if I'm all the way down in the stretch position, I feel a lot better when I just keep it on my shoulder. And I get to a point where I know that any more than that, then I start to feel it kind of in my tricep, and it just doesn't feel like I'm getting the most out of the shoulder, which I'm obviously trying to hit. So that's going to change your width of the grip depending on what you want to do. Obviously, the closer that you go, you're going to be bringing in way more tricep. The higher you go as well, more tricep. So just work out exactly what suits you. Now, I would recommend going pretty heavy on this exercise. I like to be able to work my way up. So there might be 7 sets here. If I was to start on, half a plate and a half, 2 plates, just slowly keep going up. Not to failure though. The only sets that I go to failure are going to be my working sets. So all of the sets where I'm working up to a really heavy weight is just kind of getting the shoulder ready, making sure that I'm not going to get injured, still warming it all up. And I'll probably stop short, maybe a few reps short of failure, just so I've still got the energy when I get to the really heavy sets to be able to push them, as far as I possibly can. And when I'm trying to do heavy stuff like this, they'll probably do maybe 3 heavy working sets. But there could be 4 to 5 sets working up to that heavy weight. All right, so next exercise, we're moving back to the side of the shoulder. Now, when we were doing those strict, straight out to the side laterals, I said there was a couple variations of side lateral that I do. So this variation is, you could almost call it an upright row, but I'm still trying to pull with the side of my shoulder. So my elbows lead on this one. As before, my side delts kind of, just pulled the weight out to the side. Now I can go a little bit heavier because it's almost like an upright row that I'm pulling, but I'm still thinking about, my side shoulder. Now, I'm not thinking about traps. I'm just thinking about coming up and squeezing my shoulder. Now, again, you're not gonna have to try to pull it up over your head. Just pull it up as much as you can so that this elbow is kind of higher. You want to try to lead with your elbow rather than trying to just pull with your shoulder, because we already did that when we kept it really strict with the side laterals. So now we're just really trying to get the cap on the delt. So again, I like to do maybe another 5 sets here of 10 to 12 reps. Shoulders completely warmed up now, so I'm gonna pretty much go straight into my working weight here. All right, next exercise, moving on to another press. So now I'm onto the dumbbells. So while I was strong, I did the seated barbell press, which, it really depleted a lot of my strength. And now where I'm at the shoulder workout, I can use the dumbbells and I don't have to try to, get them up and balance a ridiculous heavy weight because the shoulders are, quite fatigued. So the heaviest I'll go on this is maybe a 42 kilo dumbbell, sometimes 32. It really depends, but never really heavier than 42 kilos if I had to do, because I'm doing them in this stage of the workout. Now the bench, I like to keep it really straight up high on this. Reason being, I don't want to be with the bench back leaning back and just using front delts. Did a lot of that with the seated barbell press. So I'm almost treating this exercise as if it's behind the neck. So I like to keep my elbows straight out, keep them really straight. I stretch my pecs a fair bit before I do this exercise to make sure that I'm opened up and I can get the range of motion that I want. So not here, back like this, and almost leaning forward and keeping it just, as if I'm doing a behind the neck press. So doing it that way, I find I get so much more total shoulder, as opposed to just kind of hitting the front delt. So again, no warm-ups required here. I'll probably do maybe 4 sets of 10 to 12, and I find that I'll fatigue pretty quick on this movement just because of everything else that I've done prior. All right, so now next exercise, I'm going to be isolating the front delt with a front delt dumbbell raise. Now, you can either do this with dumbbells, you can do it with barbell, you can do it with a cable, lots of different ways that you can do it, and lots of different ways you can either start with your palms facing your legs and come up that way. You can turn your hands so your thumb's facing up and just come up with your front delt that way. Or you can do like what I'm doing with just my hands facing up, top of my hand facing up, and just coming like this. So really depends. I like to, at this stage of the workout, just grab either a 15 or a 17 kilo dumbbell and just rep it out. I'll just go from one arm to the next, which I might get 15, 20 reps, something like that. Put a little bit of volume in there, even a little bit of momentum. At this stage of the workout, my shoulder's really fatigued. I'm gonna feel pretty much just about anything. So yeah, like I said, probably 3 to 4 sets of maybe 15 reps here. I just do as much as I can. A lot of the time on this exercise, I don't even really count reps. I just try to just go as many reps as I possibly can. Okay, final exercise for shoulders. You're gonna be doing a barbell shrug. Now, I always do traps at the end. I wouldn't say that I have overdeveloped traps, but they respond quite well. So there's never been a need for me to train traps at the start of my workout or even in the middle of my workout. I've always done them at the end. The way that I like to do them, I like to be able to work the whole trap, from the lower trap all the way up. Now, the way to do that is to lean forward slightly, just a little bit, not bending over. Just lean forward slightly and pull with your elbows. So it's almost like a row. And that way, when you lean forward a bit, you can really bring it back and squeeze all of the lower traps, which is back there. You can't really see that in the mirror, but you'll definitely be able to feel it if you do it right. So anyone that kind of does a shrug that just stands really stiff and upright and just pulls, with the upper trap here, you're just not going to be able to get that full development of the trap, that you'll see in all the back poses, which, for me is obviously very, very important. Competitive bodybuilder, I want to be able to build and get my back as thick as I possibly can, have as much detail as I possibly can. And this exercise performed this way has been able to just really thicken up all the middle and lower trap. If you can't work out what is going on with your elbows and the leaning and everything on a bar, it's perfectly fine to do dumbbells. It's actually a lot easier to master the leaning forward and squeezing, almost like a rowing type movement on the dumbbells. And then you can, once you've worked it out, move on to the barbell and you'll easily be able to do it here. So I do normally roughly 5 sets on this exercise. Definitely do a couple of warm-ups and then 5 working sets of probably 10 to 15 reps. I don't go any lower than that. All right, well that concludes today's shoulder workout. So all of those exercises, obviously I handpicked, I selected based on what I feel my shoulder training needs. And that's exactly what you guys should do. Don't fall into the trap of just doing, because presses feel good and you like presses and you want to lift heavy in the gym and impress everybody, don't just fall into the trap of doing that over and over and over again, because you will, your shoulder development's going to reflect that, and it's sometimes very hard to come back from that. If you've done years of just doing heavy presses and your front delt's like a mountain, but then from the side you've got zero rear delt, zero side delt, it's going to take a long time to kind of correct that imbalance. So if you are someone, maybe some of you guys like to go to the gym and just lift heavy and scream and yell and all that kind of thing, that's cool. But if you are somebody that cares about their development, wants to try to keep everything in proportion, then I suggest look in the mirror, see where your shoulder's lacking, and start to choose your exercises based around that. All right, so that's it for me for this workout. Guys, don't forget to subscribe to the Massive Joe's YouTube channel. That way you can stay up to date with everything that the guys are doing. It seems like there's a new YouTube video almost every day. So there's plenty of content out there for you guys coming from across all of the athletes. And there's plenty of motivational stuff as well. So check it all out, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you all in the next video.
Thank you for tuning into this video. We hope you enjoyed watching. Don't forget to check out our latest upload and our recommended video, and be sure to subscribe to the Massive Joe's YouTube channel to stay up to date with all of our latest uploads.